Hi, this is Doki, and today I'm going to be doing my monthly wrap-up for September. And I actually, unlike August, where I feel like I didn't read that much, September I actually got quite a bit of reading done. Mostly, I basically read a ton of fantasy, and of the fantasy, a lot of it was YA fantasy. So apparently that was the key to like getting me to reading a lot of books again. I did have one book that I tried to read this month, which was not fantasy, and it just didn't work for me. This was my DNF for the month. This was The Nix by Nathan Hill, which I think is a story about a college professor who basically starts to learn about a lot of his mother's secrets. She had like vanished when he was younger, and yeah, over the course of the book, I think he's supposed to be finding out about her. I just found that like within the first 40 pages, it traded on a lot of familiar tropes about college professors, about college students, about gamers, and it just like, yeah, it just didn't really stick for me. I think in general, literary fiction is just not my genre, especially literary fiction written by men. You know, getting back to the things that I did finish. So first up is Nimona. This is a graphic novel by Noelle Stevenson. I read this for Diversathon, which was a really good experience for me to kind of think a little bit more critically about the diversity in what I'm reading and in terms of whose work I am reading. So Nimona is about a shapeshifter named Nimona who decides that she wants to be the sidekick to the evil Lord Blackheart. And over the course of the book, you learn that Nimona is not all that she appears. You also realize that a lot of, you know, the labels of good and bad in this world are maybe a bit arbitrarily assigned, and it's just a really great book. If you like graphic novels, it's really great. I love the artwork in the story. It's really funny, it's sweet and sad at times, and it was a ton of fun. I felt like visually some of the characters are not what you get, especially, you know, maybe in comic books you don't see characters who are always drawn like this. My other read for Diversathon was The Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi, and this book really surprised me. So this is a Hades and Persephone's retelling, but it's set also against a lot of Hindu mythology, and I was skeptical only not because of anything regarding the book, really just because I get really particular with things that have a lot of Indian inspiration, and it's easy for me to like temper my excitement with a lot of skepticism about whether things are going to turn out the way I want them to. But I really enjoyed this book. The mythology of the world was so beautifully drawn out. It was completely surprising to me. I really did love this book so much, and I'm so glad that I kind of just finally made myself like sit down and read it. I do wish that it was a little bit longer. I felt like it had so much vivid imagery within it that it could have been kind of fleshed out a little bit more and made for a more complicated world that was already presented. But there is going to be a sequel, and I'm really excited for that. It's going to follow up on one of the major side characters, so yeah, I'm super excited for that sequel when it comes out. Next up is a series. This is the Remnant Chronicles. I'm actually still working my way through the third book. The first two are the Kiss of Deception and the Heart of Betrayal. And the third book, which I am still reading, is The Beauty of Darkness. I just thought I would lump them all together, in part because I'm not sure if I'm going to finish the series. So I started reading it because I saw a review for it on BookTube, which sounded really interesting. It is about a princess named Leigh who basically runs away because she's being forced into a marriage that she doesn't even know if she wants. She doesn't know the prince at all that she's supposed to be getting married to, and she runs away. The prince basically goes undercover to find her, and then there is also an assassin who goes undercover to find her. And of course, there are secrets, there are love triangles, there's grand mythological reasons that the people are the way they are. I don't know. I don't know if the series is really for me. I felt like in both the first and the second book, the beginning and the end were really good. The middle just felt like nothing was happening. Like they were just static, and things were happening. It just wasn't exciting to me. Like, and these are huge. Like there's so many pages, and it's just so many pages for things to not be happening in them. And I don't really care about Leigh. I don't really care for these guys. I don't really get what makes them click together. I don't know. I'm trying to finish The Beauty of Darkness, and maybe I'll finish it, but I'm not optimistic. I don't know. This is like kind of the series for me that like exemplifies like why I get frustrated with YA, like kind of a lot of those tropes. But yeah, it's just not grabbing me. Moving on to YA fantasy series that I do love. This is the Six of Crows series. So I reread Six of Crows this month in anticipation for the Crooked Kingdom release. I have probably already at this point published my review of it, or posted my review of it. I just love this series so much. I love the characters so much. I love how Leigh Bardugo is able to build out this really interesting world, not just from her original Grishaverse, like where, you know, all these magical powers, but also kind of like this like merchant island and all of the complicated dealings that are going on between gangs and merchant guilds and all of these things. I just think it's so engrossing, and I'm obsessed with this world. I am sad that the series, I'm like both happy and sad that the series is like done. I want so much more from it, but I don't know if we're gonna get it. I want all of these characters to lead happy lives, and I don't know. I won't be happy until I know that they are. And the last is Kushiels Dart, which is, this was a reread for me too. I mentioned this in some of my top 5 Wednesday videos this month. This is my favorite fantasy series of all time. This is set in a kind of like pseudo-Europe, where like there's basically different analogs for different European cultures. There's like a fake France, a fake Scandinavia world. There's like all of these different things. And Kushiels Dart is set around Phaedra, who is this courtesan in a society that basically reveres sex. And not only is she a courtesan, she's also kind of blessed / cursed by the gods to be supremely masochistic. And it's a thing, I don't ever know how to really explain it, but it's a trait that allows her to gain access to a lot of incredibly powerful people in society, especially because she is taken in by a nobleman who like trains her and teaches her how to navigate these worlds and their politics. And it's just such a great series. Like, this is one of those series that, like, this is one of those books that's long, but it just goes so quickly, at least for me. Like, I've reread this book. This is at least my 4th time reading it, and I love it so much. I think the worlds that, you know, Phaedra has to go between are so, I think the author does really good. I think Jacqueline Carey, she does a really good job of building out the world and kind of creating these unique cultures, but also giving Phaedra enough of an awareness of how they relate to her own world. And I think really what it is that draws me back to these series so much is Phaedra and her voice. It's narrated like it's a first-person narration, and she just has this voice that feels so soothing when you read it. There's something about the way that Carey uses Phaedra's voice to tell the story that I just find incredibly like relaxing. Like, you're hearing like stories about really terrible things, but she's just like this character with so much awareness and like wisdom that you're just always happy to hear it. I just find that the way that the politics is written, even when I don't, like, I've read this so many times and I'm really bad at tracking politics, so I don't always understand everything, but even when I don't, like, I just really like seeing how everything falls out. And there's always, like, it's so dense that there's always something that I've kind of forgotten happened, so every time I read it, it feels like both a familiar and a new experience, and it's just my favorite series to reread. I'm gonna be probably rereading the other 2 books in this trilogy soon because it's my favorite book. If everyone reads this, I will be so happy. I need to find a way to to explain to people how good this series is, because like at its core, it doesn't sound unique. It's like about a prostitute who is able to make major political changes. Like, I don't know how to explain it in a way that captures what makes it so good, but if you're looking for a really good fantasy series, this is the one that I would recommend. Like, so good. Anyway, yeah, so that is my reading for September. I guess October is coming up, so, or October is happening, so I guess I'll probably be reading some horror books soon. We'll see. So yeah, that was my readings for September. It was a really good reading month. I'm so happy that Crooked Kingdom came out. I'm so glad that it was as good as I was hoping it would be. I'm glad that I got through a lot of books that I hadn't read before. So yeah, bye.